This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. I got my man, Big Bubba, in the building. Oh, whoa. Sorry about that. That's the wrong one. Hit the wrong button. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it. Got my man Big Bubba in the building. You heard the theme song. I accidentally hit the wrong button and gave him the wrong theme song. I corrected it, so don't get mad at me. But anyway, Big Bubba, what's popping?
Man, Sim, you had you know, we were cool, and then you just had to do that. But what's going?
Had to get it right. Got to do my job right.
Yeah. No, what's going on, Sims? Going on, Chad? It's good to be back, man. It's been a little while, but we back. Chinchilla ice on with a fitted. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it, man. We got couple of things to talk about today. I think we have some good topics to talk about. We're not going to be here too long, just enough for you to get your Knicks fixed, and then, go home and get your kids fixed. I know it's corny. You understand that?
Oh man.
It was corny. I'll give it to myself.
There you go.
Anyway.
Oh man.
I was listening to Tony Jones from The Athletic, right? He reports for The Athletic. And he was talking about, they were asking him about the trade, the Donovan Mitchell trade, the New York Knicks, Donovan Mitchell, Utah Jazz trade. And if he knew what players the New York Knicks offered in the deal. All right, so I want you to listen to this. And then we're going to go ahead and get down and break it down. All right, this is Tony Jones, ladies and gentlemen, on ESPN 700. Let's take a listen.
You referenced the Knicks making an offer. Do you have any insight on as far as exactly what that offer entailed? Any idea?
I mean, it involved a number of first-round picks, but most of them were protected rather than unprotected. And I can tell you that the Knicks are, trying. The one player that they are trying not to put in the deal is Quentin Grimes. They don't want Quentin Grimes in the deal under any circumstance. And the Jazz, the number one player that the Jazz want in the deal is Quentin Grimes. And I get the sense that the Jazz are really hesitant to do a deal that doesn't have Quentin Grimes in there. So I can tell you that the Knicks are amenable to giving the Jazz Obi Toppin, who's really young and high energy, high ceiling power forward. But Quentin Grimes is a major sticking point at this point, as are the picks. The Jazz want a lot of picks and they want a lot of unprotected picks. So,
all right there, ladies and gentlemen, we'll stop it there. Isaiah, your thoughts, regardless if you want I guess if you want Donovan Mitchell or not, really does, lead into if you think they should give up Quentin Grimes or not. So I guess I can't say that. But what is your thought there? That Quentin Grimes could be the sticking point to whether or not the Knicks get Donovan Mitchell. And that the Knicks think that highly of Quentin Grimes. So obviously the Utah Jazz.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I believe that shout out to the Knicks drafting. Shout out to what's my man's name? I forgot he does all drafting. What's his name?
Walt Perrin?
Well, shout out to Walt Perrin, man. He knows talent. It's tough because I'm not gonna lie to you, Sim. I've learned to accept that we're probably most likely going to get Donovan Mitchell. It's just now it's just more of a matter of what the Knicks are willing to give up.
Mhm.
And if it's Quentin Grimes, I'm stuck right now because you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot of RJ and those guys. Some of those guys on the team to step up their defense when you have a guy like Quentin Grimes that already plays the defense.
Right.
And it's pretty interchangeable because to me, what the Jazz really want out of Quentin Grimes is because I feel this is me. When I heard that, I feel like they want Quentin Grimes, yes, to have him play there, but also they're going to flip Quentin Grimes to get a first round pick out of him.
You think so? You don't think they just want Quentin Grimes?
No, because I think, well, me personally, this is what I think. Danny Ainge is a nut. Danny Ainge is a nut job, and Danny Ainge knows this is not just a 1 year, 2 year rebuild. And of
Right.
course, Quentin Grimes is young. He is only what 22, 23.
I think he's
24?
21 or 22.
Yeah.
Yes. I
So-
mean, why wouldn't they? Because, you're saying they're going to flip him for a first round pick, but he was a first round pick, a low first round pick, but he's proven that maybe he can be more than that. Out of high school, he was,
Top 10, top
yeah,
prospect.
he was a top prospect in the nation out of high school. So why wouldn't they look and say he could be a starter in the NBA? Not that they're looking for him to be Donovan Mitchell.
No,
but
you're
that
right.
he could be a starter in the NBA, so they might be looking to keep Quentin Grimes.
Yeah, I got this. I just got this weird sense in that I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. Maybe you're right. They probably do just want him to get the ball rolling on their rebuild, and I just had a weird feeling that they would just flip Quentin Grimes again to get a first round pick. But
Because it's
it's
not
possible.
like he's getting paid a lot of money. Remember, he was
No,
a
that
low
he's
20s
controlled.
pick, right? He was
Yeah, so
picked
he's
in the
getting a
low
cool
20s.
million.
Yeah, so he's not making that much money. So his contract isn't bad. He will outplay his rookie contract most likely.
100%.
Okay,
100%. I mean, if you want to be honest, he almost outplayed it last year. Besides him getting injured,
right.
he outplayed it. But Sim, I'm tough right now. I'm conflicted because yes, you're getting Donovan Mitchell, but man, the players that help you get to the championships, all those Quentin Grimes,
Yeah,
all those kind of plays.
I agree. I
And
agree.
and to be fair, Sim, I want to see him and RJ play together, man. I think
Mhm.
those two. I mean, they're both literally 6'4" and above, 6'6". They're
Yeah,
6'5" and
I
above.
think Quentin Grimes is like 6'5", and then of
Yeah,
course
so
RJ is 6'7".
Yeah, I mean, if you even sometimes I be thinking he's 6'8" because him and Randall, they like almost
Yeah.
the same height.
Yeah.
But I say that because I believe that in this league, wings get you far, and having RJ and Quentin Grimes, to me, Quentin Grimes is going to be if he were to stay, Quentin Grimes would be our starter this year, and to have a lineup of Brunson, Quentin Grimes, and RJ, I believe that's a great.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that Quentin Grimes. I mean, I think that Quentin Grimes will eventually be the starter. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I feel like he needs another year of seasoning, and then he can be the starter for the New York Knicks at the shooting guard spot. But that's semantics.
Yeah, that's the whole.
That's
different
just
subject.
semantics. It doesn't really
just-
apply to this conversation.
Yeah.
Would Quentin Grimes hold up the trade for you?
Yes.
Okay, he would hold up the trade. Okay.
Yes. And here's my thing. We always say, Sim, respectfully, a lot of people believe around the NBA, you could always get a 3-and-D guy. They could always get a 3-and-D guy.
Well, I mean,
I
I
don't
don't know.
necess- I
I
don't
don't know
necess-
if you can always get a 3D guy.
No, but
you know,
there's a notion around that you could always get one.
right. I agree. There is.
Yes and no.
That's true.
I-
And listen, I'm not arguing about Quentin Grimes and his ability and his potential, right? But do you hold up the trade for Quentin Grimes? Because just like you're saying, you can't just go get a 3-and-D guy. You also can't go
can't
get
get a
a
Donovan
talent
Mitchell.
like Donovan Mitchell.
No,
Right.
and this is the debate. Now this is that's why it's hard. That's why I don't think it's easy being a GM.
Oh,
I
it's
don't-
not.
I don't-
It's not. It's not
it's not
easy being a
easy
GM.
being a GM. It would just I'd have to hold this in because I just like what I see out of Quentin Grimes, and it's not just Quentin Grimes. I just like that what he can do to elevate and have. To me, like I told you before, my stance on is I'm going to continue saying is I like size when it comes to on the Knicks with the floor,
Mhm.
and especially being in the East, you need size and you need guys that can be able to switch. And sometimes Quentin Grimes, you guard the power forward or guard the three, but RJ guards the two, and sometimes possibly the one. I need guys that will be interchangeable. It's just to me, it's going to be a little tough when you trade for that. When you trade a guy like Quentin Grimes, you got just RJ. And I'm not saying that Donovan can't be a good defender. I think Donovan can be a decent defender, but I would be a little wary of a lineup where you don't have that many defensive players, and also in your secondary, let's say hypothetically, it is Quentin Grimes and the unprotected, and one more player. I'm not comfortable with our defense, our wing defense. I'll be more clear. I'm not comfortable with our wing defense without Quentin Grimes.
I get it. I understand that. For me, I'm not holding up the trade for Quentin Grimes. And I like Quentin Grimes. I really like his potential. I don't think he's going to end up being Donovan Mitchell.
No, of course not.
Right? He could prove me wrong. He could surprise me and prove me wrong. That's just me. I don't think he's going to end up being Donovan Mitchell. I'm not holding up the trade for Quentin Grimes. It would hurt me to move Quentin Grimes because I do like what he brings, and I agree. I think him next to RJ in the future would look really, really nice. You got Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, which is probably another reason why the Knicks are like, you know what? We feel good about Quentin Grimes and the way that trio would look from the guard and wing positions. So we're not stressing it like that. Ultimately, I don't think they hold it up and not make the move because of Quentin Grimes. That's what I think, but you never know. They might have something else in mind. Ultimately, I don't think they do. I believe they both are basically at a stare down, and Utah is like, we want Grimes. The Knicks is like, no, we want Grimes. Right?
Man, listen, so
and they're seeing who's going to blink first.
Yeah, and Sim, I told you before, two things. One, I'd rather give a quickly a Obi before Grimes. You can have either, pick a choice, or you want both. Take them both. Let me keep quickly. I mean Grimes. I value no disrespect, and I like Obi and I like quickly. I value Grimes more than quickly and Obi Toppin. Personally.
Yeah.
Secondly, I said it before. I believe the Knicks have the leverage because here's the big thing, Sim. And we talked about it a couple shows ago.
I don't. I think because they have the player that's mostly coveted. I think they have.
But here's the thing, though, right, Sim? Here's the thing. You're gonna have to play him. He got 4 years left, or 2 or 3 years left. You're gonna have to play him. Now, if you play him, you risk him getting injured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but here's the thing.
That's where the stereo game goes, Sim.
According to Tony Jones, and this could be the Utah Jazz giving him information to put out in the public, but according to Tony Jones, the Utah Jazz, Danny Ainge, and the Utah Jazz have no problems with rebuilding around Donovan Mitchell.
So that's a poker face.
It could be. I'm just stating what's been said. It could be a poker face, but it could not.
It could.
I don't know.
But this is to me where I say I'm willing if I'm the Knicks, if I'm Leon Rose, I'm willing to do the staring contest.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you want to tank for that kid from France. That's not a big secret. Everybody know the Spurs and the Utah Jazz and those teams are wanting to take.
But here's the thing.
France.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with that. People say it's not a big secret. I don't know if the Utah Jazz have come out and said that, or if Utah Jazz have told anybody else that. Everyone's assuming because of the moves that they made, especially with Rudy Gobert. So, and then you hear about Donovan Mitchell, so everyone's assuming that that's what they're trying to do. I don't believe that they came out and said that.
Of course. No.
So it's an assumption.
No team is going to ever say no. We're taking.
I'm just saying. It's an assumption, though, right?
Yeah, but again, right? I feel like the Knicks, man, they can win this staring contest because at the end of the day, if you play him. He has a risk. He has a chance of getting injured.
That's true.
And to me, the Knicks, we have a young team. But we could wait.
That's true. No, you're right. I agree with you 100%. The Knicks, they're in a good spot. right? They're in a good spot. I just don't know if they have the leverage because in the same way we're saying that about Donovan Mitchell, that, if you play him, he can get hurt. You don't want to, you can say the same things about Quentin Grimes if he's the one
Because
holding up the trade.
Well, that is
right.
That's true.
You go,
but-
you go into the season and you're playing Quentin Grimes and you're still having this stare down, and then he gets hurt and kaput. Right.
But the reason why, I say it's stay down because look, right. Even let's go back to the Pelican situation. Well, I won't lie, it's a little more delicate because we know Anthony Davis's injury history.
Mm-hmm.
But they pretty much shut him down. Once them Laker trade talks were coming, they pretty much shut him down.
But he had an injury. I mean, they had a reason to shut him down.
No, of course.
Right.
But I'm just saying,
supposedly had a reason to shut him down. I mean, I get it. I understand. I understand. Both teams are playing poker, and the Knicks are trying to hold on to Quentin Grimes, and they're gonna see if Utah budges, and the Utah Jazz are trying to see if the Knicks budge.
So
Ultimately, it gets done, and
can I ask you a question, Sam?
Yeah.
What are you giving up?
First of all, I've been said I'm not opposed to giving up draft picks.
I'm not. See,
I'm not crazy. I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not calling anyone crazy. I'm saying I'm not crazy about. I'm not just like, oh, I gotta hoard these draft picks. I feel comfortable that this regime can get more draft picks. So I'm not concerned as much as some people are about the draft picks.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I would rather give up the draft picks than the players we have now.
Me personally, I'm with you, Sam. I mean, look, I think it's known. I don't want to trade for Donovan Mitchell, but it's almost to a point. And again, this is not a non-big secret that this trade is going to happen.
Probably.
It's
I think
most likely going to happen. So my thing is, I would rather give up the picks too.
Yeah.
To be fair,
yeah,
I'd rather give up the picks. Now, if we give up the picks, see, I'm comfortable. I would probably do three. I would do three unprotected, one protected, and a swap. And you get to pick anybody but Grimes.
I don't know if that's getting it. First of all, you got to do more than just Grimes or one player.
What I meant to say was
you got to match the salary.
You got to do Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, and a young guy. That's not Quentin Grimes.
If you're doing Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, you're giving up more than 3 picks.
No, that's what I said though. I said
3 unprotected and what else?
I said 3 unprotected, 1 protected, a swap.
Okay,
that's
so you're
5
giving
picks.
you're giving up more than 4 picks.
That's 5.
Well, it's not really 5 because the Knicks
But
still
you get
have
the
a
swap.
pick. You get the swap, but the Knicks still have a pick.
No,
They have Utah's pick then if they swap, but they still have a pick.
yeah. So you do the swap, or you do 2 swaps. So that's 6, almost 6 picks in a sort of a way.
I get it. But what I'm saying about the swaps is for Utah, for us, we look at it and say, well, you get the higher pick. But for Utah, when you talk about the swap, they're still giving up a pick. Not giving up a pick, but they still keep, they're just swapping a pick. It's not like they're adding an extra pick.
Yeah.
They're just swapping a pick. So, the pick swaps are cool, but I don't think Utah is going to be crazy. In my opinion, the pick swaps are sweeteners, right? Because they're not going to. They're going to look at the Knicks and say, "Well, you're probably going to be a good team. We may not even be able to swap with you."
Sam, you want to know why pick swaps are important though? Guess what Jason Tatum was?
I understand that.
He was a pick swap.
I understand that. The pick swaps, in my opinion, are better for the team that is going to. Let me explain. Let me figure out how to put it into words. For the team that's going to be worse, the pick swap may not be good.
Yeah. But Sam, hold
right?
on.
Because
But
if Utah is projected, if they're tanking and they're not going to have a good record, and the Knicks are going to have a good record, then Utah doesn't get that pick swap.
But hold on, but look at this.
Depending on the year, obviously, depending on that season.
But look at this too, right? For example, here's even a closer example besides Jason Tatum. Look what the Nets and the Rockets. They did a multitude of pick swaps,
I get it.
and now they're gonna blow it up. So let's say,
Well, maybe they're gonna blow. I mean, I get it. I understand how they work. I know how they work and what they can produce in the future. But it's not a sure thing.
No,
it's not a sure thing. That's why I say the pick swaps are sweeteners.
Yeah, you know what my thing is too, Sim. Here's my thing. And if I'm one of the people on Leon Rose's team, you know what I put on the big board?
What's that?
I say don't make NBA history.
Well,
and what I mean by that,
listen,
don't have the biggest trade ever.
I really don't care.
Donovan
I really don't care about.
But no,
listen. I'm just saying I don't care about NBA history. Hold up. I know what you're saying, but I don't care about NBA history, right? I only care about the Knicks getting the deal done that's good for them.
No, of course. I mean, look. Again, we can all agree that he's probably going to be a Knick, but it's just, to me, I don't want to make history about giving up too much for him. Because again, Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, is a very great 1B player. I believe Donovan Mitchell will be a great second option on a championship team. I really believe that.
Well, I'm not going to go by what I believe. I'm going to go by what I've seen, and then base it on history. Right. And when you look at what Donovan Mitchell's done, his first 4 years in the league or whatever it is, right? He's on a trajectory to be much more than that, in my opinion. He's on a trajectory to be much more than that. You know, people want to base it on last season and the playoffs, and instead of looking at the overall production of Donovan Mitchell. He's 25 years old. He's still got 3 years to go before he even reaches his prime. 3 years to go before he even reaches his prime. So I'm just going by the trajectory that he's already shown in the league and his ability to even get better over that time. I'm not just going to go by what I think or what I guess. I'm going to go by what I've seen already.
So
that's all I can say about it, really. That's all I can say about it.
This is where we disagree, because
I'm looking at his trajectory, and his trajectory is, come on. He's played in a better conference than the New York Knicks, the best conference, right? People always talk about last year's playoff performance, but when you go and look at the history of his playoff performance, the guy's almost averaging 30 points a game in the playoffs. He's been one of the. I know. This is not an argument about.
You know where I'm going.
I know what you're saying, but this is not an argument. This is really not an argument about Donovan Mitchell and his playoff performance and all of that. But I'm just saying, I think that he is on his way to being a more than a 1B guy. I just think that when you look at his trajectory. What he's done in the league already. Everyone bases it on last year. Again, I'll say it again. And then I have another question. If this was Steph Curry, back when Steph Curry was at this point in his career, everyone would have said the same thing about Donovan Mitchell.
But Sim, hold on now.
I'm just saying, we're not going to get into. Hold on. We're not. You can. You very much can. Because at this point in Steph Curry's career,
Donovan Mitchell, that's disrespectful.
Why?
To Donovan.
No, it's not, because Steph Curry at this point in his career was the same player.
Sam,
you're looking at Steph Curry as a finished product. You're not looking at him back then. I'm just gonna say, go look at him back then and then talk to me. Anyway, if the New York Knicks decide that they are not, and can you even yourself up, please? We talked about this before the show. You know what I'm saying? Come on, we talked about this. You talk about Donovan Mitchell slacking. You're going to say Donovan Mitchell is a slacker? Come on. And ladies and gentlemen, before I go on to the next question, let me know, right? Because I'm testing out some new equipment here. Let me know if the microphones, if the sound is loud enough, and if everything is clear, if there's anything wrong with the sound quality. Just let me know, okay? Because we're working it out. So I would love the feedback so I can make sure that it sounds right. How much pressure, if the New York Knicks decide that they're going to keep Quentin Grimes instead of trade him for Donovan Mitchell, how much pressure does it put on Quentin Grimes to fulfill his potential? with the New York Knicks because it's always going to be looked at. It's always going to be looked at. People are going to go back and say, you kept Quentin Grimes instead of trading for Donovan Mitchell. This young man better be everything that you expect him to be. How much pressure does it put on him?
So me personally, I don't think there's no pressure because Quentin Grimes has got to play his game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, Nick fans. If I'm him, I'm not worried about it because again, I think Quentin Grimes is going to play his game. He's going to be who he is. He can't harp on. Oh man, I'm the reason why the Knicks ain't got Donovan Mitchell. I mean, of course he can. He's probably going to see that. But I believe who Quentin Grimes is. He's going to play his game and he's going to be fine. I believe he'll be, and this is my opinion. This is what I believe he can be. I think at his height he could be a Danny Green on the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny Green, that guy was a monster on the Spurs. People won't complain. People won't complain when you see Quentin Grimes being on the all defensive teams. One day eventually, hopefully, he gets on one of the all defensive teams. He might be in contention to get a defensive player of the year one day if he's that good. If he keeps working hard, you won't see people complain. So again, I don't think there's no pressure. Because at the end of the day, players know they get traded for all the players all the time, or they get canceled for trades all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, do you think Jaylen Brown? Well, okay, never mind. Jaylen Brown does feel a type of way he's about to get traded for Kevin Durant, but it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop Jaylen Brown from being Jaylen Brown.
No, it's not going to stop Jaylen Brown from being Jaylen Brown, but I think it puts some pressure. And I'm not saying the pressure is put on, and maybe I said it wrong, not on Quentin Grimes himself because he didn't decide to make the trade or not to make the trade. But fans are going to be looking at the Knicks to say, okay, you didn't trade this kid for Donovan Mitchell, who is a 3-time All-Star and has the potential to go even farther. He's been in the playoffs every single year that he's been in the league, in the best conference in the NBA at that time. This kid better come through. It's like, for example, if we didn't have Steph on this channel and I could have traded you for Steph and I decided not to, you damn well better be doing what you do and doing it well. You dig what I'm saying?
First of all, you would never trade me for Steph.
You dig what I'm saying?
Don't even lie to the people like that.
Yes, I would.
So
Luckily, I don't have to worry about it.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that to hurt my feelings. I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
Luckily, I don't have to worry about it. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, I would.
Just trade Jaws. Just trade Jaws. No, we love you, Jaws.
But
no, Sim. So you're right. No, you're right. So to be honest, we're both right because at the end of the day, Quentin Grimes is going to be him.
He's going to
be him.
Like
I said before, I believe his ceiling is Danny Green on the Spurs. That's my ceiling for him. That's what I think he can be. Now again, I see somebody in the comments say, and this is true. This is also true too. Are you going to let Danny Green hold you up from getting Donovan Mitchell?
Right.
And
no,
this is the
if that is his ceiling, if Danny Green is his ceiling, there is no way. And I like Danny Green. I like what he brings to the team. But there is no way that I hold up that trade. I'm sorry.
But this is the great debate, and this is why I love what we do. Without Danny Green, do they win a championship?
Maybe. We don't know. We can't tell. It's hypothetical.
I just about to say that.
It's hypothetical. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. It's hypothetical.
It was to a point where if the Spurs caught that rebound, there were serious talks of Danny Green being the Finals MVP.
Listen, I'm not saying that Danny Green didn't participate. I'm not saying that at all. But there's also certain players on that team that if you didn't have them, there was no way that they were getting to a championship.
No, of course.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not holding up. I'm not holding up. If I'm not holding that up. So that's why I say
So
if you're
so
keeping Quentin Grimes, if Quentin Grimes is the sticking point, people are going to look at the Knicks and say, this kid better be, he doesn't have to be a superstar, but he damn well better be
better.
very, very good.
I ain't gonna lie though, Sim.
If he
do
fades out,
he gotta be good.
if he fades out in 2 years,
Woo!
it's a
Sim,
problem.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna come here.
You
Sim,
just
I
made the
promise-
mic low. You just made the mic low.
Oh,
You got to put it back where it was.
Sim, I promise you, Sim. If that would have happened, I will come on this show, and I'll apologize every chance. Who? So you believe when Mitchell's at his prime, he's going to be a 1A?
I do. I believe. Well,
I don't-
let me not say I believe he has that potential to be a 1A, and not everybody has that potential to be a 1A.
So here's my thing, Sim.
You know, people are gonna look at it. He was a 1A on the Utah Jazz team, and they won a lot of basketball games. Did they get over the top?
in the regular
No.
season.
I get that, but guess what? Before Michael Jordan won a championship, he was 1A.
Oh my God! Here
no,
we go.
listen, he was eliminated in the first round 3 years straight.
Sim, but we
Was
can't
he not?
compare.
No. Don't tell me that I'm comparing Donovan Mitchell to Michael Jordan. I'm comparing circumstances. Right? Comparing circumstances. He was a 1A. He did not win a championship. He got eliminated 3 years in a row in the first round. Right? He got more pieces on his team. So we can't look at Donovan Mitchell or Jason Tatum or this guy or that guy and say they did not get it done as a 1A, because you need a team. And listen, he did not have a lot of scoring punch to help him on that team.
Sim, hold on.
And that's
That
the
is
bottom line truth.
that's fair. I can
Patrick
admit
Ewing.
that.
Patrick Ewing was a 1A.
He was,
And it took a very long time before they got to the championship.
but they never. But see again, right?
Go ahead. Say what you was going to say. Say what you were going to say. They never what? Say it.
They never had a 1B.
Thank you.
But
Whoa. They never had a 1B.
No.
They never put play. Whoa. They never had a 1B. They never put players around them. I mean, you know, you had John Starks and you had some guys, but they never put another guy with him. Right? But he was a 1A.
Hold on though.
Was he?
Here's the thing.
He
Here's the thing. But we gotta let some things out too. He's 3 or 4 time defensive player of the year. He had that. That's a fact. He had a top 5 defense. He was the number 1 seed. And again, I fully know he did not have the score. But again, he had Joe Ingles. He had Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich will give you 18 points. You know what I'm saying? You have Rudy. Okay, Rudy but didn't show up in the playoff. Defensively, he did. Offensively, no. But again, that was all season though with Rudy Gobert. Against him, we have seen him with number 1 seeds, the number 1 seed in the East, on the West, in the harder at the time, the harder conference. They didn't do anything. They had multiple times they didn't do anything.
But again,
they
you
faced
keep
teams with no defenses didn't do anything
listen,
in the playoffs.
you keep putting that only on Donovan Mitchell.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm just saying.
You
But hold
keep
on,
putting
I'm
that.
just saying
I would
that
argue.
He's been in better circumstances, and he doesn't.
I would argue with you that for the progress that they did make and how good they were, it was because Donovan Mitchell was scoring 30 points a game. And that they needed more firepower because the playoffs are a different beast. You needed a little bit more than just defense. You needed your center to be able to score. You needed other guys to be able to come through. You can't just point at that, and that's the reason.
But how can we say? But again, that's a fair point, and I fully agree with you. But how can we say in the same sentence that we're expecting more from Rudy Gobert when Rudy Gobert has to cover up for the messes of Donovan Mitchell and all these other players that are not playing defense? And it's not just, and I get it, it's not just Donovan Mitchell not playing defense. I get it. But Sim, here's where I come from, and this is my big thing. Let's say this happens. We get Brunson and we get Donovan Mitchell. And I'm going to go back to it because these other teams are not going nowhere. You have the size of You have the size of the Celtics. You have the size of
Again,
the Milwaukee
we've
Bucks.
been through it.
You have the
We've been
Miami
through it a
Heat.
million
You
times.
have all these teams.
I get
you
it.
have the Sixers.
I get it. And guess what?
I
And
can't
guess
say
what?
here, Sim,
And guess
that
what?
a backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Spider is gonna beat those guys.
And
I'm
you
sorry.
can't say that it's not.
Sim.
No. Answer. Don't say Sim. You can't say that it's not.
Sim,
Can you? Do you have a crystal ball?
No.
Can you say that the Knicks won't add other pieces?
Of course not.
No, you can't. That's what I'm saying. You got to go get a talent when you get it. You got to go get a talent. Talent like that doesn't come around
Sim,
every day. It doesn't come
Sim,
around every day.
I got to do it to you. As a coach, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And
Go
be
ahead.
honest.
I'm going to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, I will drop a link in the chat so you can see it. Go ahead. Ask me the question. Ask me the question.
How are you going to have a backcourt of two? And I'll be generous. I'll give them both 6'1" guys.
I did it with 3. That's what I'm going to tell you.
You wasn't guarding Giannis. You didn't have it.
Listen.
To play against Giannis.
You asked me a question, and then you're going to tell me what I didn't have or what I didn't have to do. You asked me a question, and then now you're going to tell me what I didn't have to do. I'm telling you, I played with a team with very small guards, and it was our guard attack that made other teams adjust to us because we were able to pressure up. See, we combated their other team's length and the ability to post up or rebound the basketball with pressure. And so their guards had a hard time getting the ball to the guys with length. And so we pressured them to death, and we ran them to death, and we attacked them to death with 3 very small guards. And we were very successful. I got pictures of championships with this team. I can send you a link where we beat a team that had guys who were 6'8", 6'6", 6'5". 3 of them in a lineup. And we had very small guards. Our tallest player was 6'4". I'm just saying, you asked me a question. No, I'm just saying, and I'm not saying this happens in the NBA, and again, your face is out the screen. I'm not saying this happens in the NBA. You asked me a question, so I'm answering your question.
Okay. No,
but
I
again, this is not about that. This is about Quentin Grimes being the sticking point, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Jones, I'm not going to replay it because I want to make sure ESPN's not coming at me. ESPN's probably already mad at me if somebody heard me and Josh's argument the other day. But Tony Jones from The Athletic says that Quentin Grimes right now is a sticking point for the Utah Jazz and the New York Knicks. The Utah Jazz want Quentin Grimes, and the New York Knicks do not want to let Quentin Grimes go. I want to know what you guys think about that.
And also, too, Sam, don't you think in that situation the Knicks know that their defense will be not as good without Quentin Grimes? I guarantee you, Sam, that they even know that having a backcourt of having Spider and Brunson is not the most ideal.
Listen, all I'm saying is this: you can find a wing that can play. You go get Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He can play defense.
Sam,
if that's you're worried about defense.
Chad, I want y'all to kill him like y'all always kill me because he just said Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
I used him. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was a figure. He's just a figure. I'm not saying really to go get him, but you can go get a guy like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. You dig what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
You know what they're gonna do now? I said they go on your Twitter and put that jump shot where he did that little jump shot. They always post that picture of him with the jump shot, man.
You can go get Iman Shumpert.
I like how you did that. I want people to know.
Shumpert.
I want people to know that's grade A segue right there what he just did.
You can go get Iman Shumpert. He might not be available though.
You know what's funny, Sam?
You never know.
You know what's funny, Sam? And I'm not even joking. A couple years ago, I wanted Iman Shumpert back on the Knicks. I think the year that we were doing good, I kind of wanted Iman Shumpert on the Knicks. I thought he'd be pretty good.
I always liked Iman Shumpert. You know, when Iman Shumpert first came to the New York Knicks, people looked at him like, oh, you know, with his talent and ability, like, yo, this guy could be something one day, especially when I think it was versus the Indiana Pacers when he dunked the ball.
Oh
in the
man, that dunk was
playoffs.
still crazy.
That
That's
joint
still a
was
top five.
crazy.
That might have been that's a top 10 Nick dunk right there.
Yeah, that was beautiful. But his knee, right? He had the ACL the same year Derrick Rose, right? He had the ACL.
Yeah,
Same playoffs had the ACL, and it kind of really hampered his athleticism. He never had a jump shot, things like that. So, of course, that hampered what he could do. But anyway, Iman Shumpert, ladies and gentlemen, ex-New York Knick, and big shout out to Louisiana Knicks. Thank you for the super chat. Ex-New York Knick, Iman Shumpert has been arrested on felony weed possession charges. And here's the report from TMZ. NBA player Iman Shumpert was arrested for having a sizable amount of marijuana in his backpack at the Dallas/Fort Worth airport on Saturday. TMZ Sports has learned. According to the police report, officers responded to a potential drug violation call around 2:40 p.m. after TSA screeners found a plastic bag filled with a green leafy substance in Shumpert's bag, which he admitted was weed. Cops say the substance weighed 6.12 ounces and tested positive for marijuana using a mobile test. The report adds that 32-year-old Shumpert, who was set to board a Delta plane to Los Angeles at 3 p.m., expressed concern about missing his trip to visit his daughter. But the responding officer informed him he would not be making the flight as he was being placed under arrest for marijuana possession. The report says that Iman Shumpert was then placed in handcuffs and transported to the airport jail without incident. The charge is classified as a state jail felony, meaning Shumpert could face up to 2 years behind bars and a $10,000 fine if he's convicted. Cops also claim that Shumpert had a Glock magazine and 14 9mm rounds in his bag, although he did not have the gun. So, yeah, there you go. Safe to say, Iman Shumpert will not be playing defense for the New York Knicks. All right. You won't be. But I don't know. What do you think about it, Zay?
Sim, this might be very unpopular, but man, you can't. You're stupid. Plain and simple. That's just stupid, and you're very ignorant, and you're just stupid because why, Sim? I'm not sure, 32 years old, right? 32.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Sure,
been in
32.
the,
32.
He was playing in the league for. He got drafted around what, 2011?
I think he was 19, maybe when he maybe 19 or 21. 19 between 19 and 21.
Let's
I don't
give him
remember
better.
his exact age.
Let's give him 20, right? He recently stopped playing in the league like what, last year?
Last year, he played last year for the Nets, I think.
So what? So
for
from
a
20
little bit, not
Yeah.
a lot, but he played a little bit for the Nets last year.
So that's 12 years, right? 12 years in the league.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So he's boarded plenty of flights.
And he's made money.
He's made a good amount of money. Shumpert, Sim, you just can't. This is just stupid. Like, why do you have that much weed, and why do you have rounds of ammunition? Why do you think you can carry that in an airport and go through a metal detector and think that, Sim? I know you've been on a flight before.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a flight. I'm gonna assume most of the chat's been on a flight. You can't even bring a bottle of a full bottle of lotion on a flight.
Right.
Why do you think you could bring weed and bullets on a flight? That's just dumb. He's dumb. I'm sorry. He's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what makes him think he could. I don't know. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, man. Athletes especially, you gotta stop transporting weed throughout these airports. I mean, you got connections, I'm sure, in every city. If not, you can find a way to have a connection in that city. Get what you need when you get to that city.
He's a millionaire. And okay, and benefit of the doubt, Sim, if he's not a millionaire, His wife is a millionaire.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
They're both
just
millionaires.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
what? Like
yeah.
bruh.
But
Like what? Like to
get
me,
what you need when you get to that city. As far as the guns, I can't explain what what he was
Sim,
thinking.
that's
As
Sim,
far as
come
the
on, man.
the ammunition and the magazine, I can't explain what he was thinking. But man, come on, Shump, you're smart. And listen, he'll probably and your face is off the screen again. Come on,
Sorry.
man. Come on, man. I
I
gotta
know.
train this guy
Okay,
every single time we get on.
I took
I don't
Shumpert's
get
weed.
it.
I'm sorry. I took Shumpert's weed. My bad.
But he'll probably end up getting off easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'll probably end up getting off easy somehow, some way. And I think a lot of athletes take that for granted until it's really serious. Look at Brittany Griner. You know what I mean? And we'll talk about that tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the front stoop.
Please, it's
We're
gonna
not
be a
going
good
to
one.
get into it totally today. So make sure that I got it pinned at the top of the YouTube chat. Join us for that show tonight. It's gonna be
It's gonna be
good.
a good. It's gonna be a
It's gonna
good
be
one.
good. Lot of good discussions going on. But athletes gotta be. You have people around you that can say, "Hey, these are the laws in this state."
But Sam,
Right?
I'm sorry.
Don't do
Sam,
this. Don't do that. I get it. I understand. How old he is and all that kind of stuff.
and he's but the same
But
thing
you
is
still,
too.
you have the ability, if you know yourself and you know that you make these kind of mistakes, you have the ability to have somebody, coach you through it, because you have the money and you have the access and you have the resources. You know what I'm saying? So you do have the ability to have somebody coach you through it. And you got to be smart enough to do that. If you don't think that you, have the mental capacity to make those decisions, have somebody there that helps you. People do it all the time.
But see, I can't. But you know what, Sam? I'm sorry. This is when you got to be a man, and you got to do things on your own. And to me, this should be common sense. You can't bring weed and bullets on the play.
I mean, I listen.
You can't.
But what I'm
That's
saying
just
is,
common sense.
but that is being a man. When you have somebody advise you, if you don't know how to use your money, you go get a financial advisor. You can be 35 years old. And every time you get money, you go out and you blow it on weed and sneakers. Well, you get a financial advisor who helps you manage your money. That is being a man. Being a man sometimes is recognizing your downfall.
No, that is true.
Right?
That's true. I just look. I wholeheartedly, man. I hope Shump gets off. I mean, he's most likely gonna pay the fine, do community service, probably be on probation or something like that.
Yeah.
But it just, to me, it just shouldn't have ever got to this point because it just, like Shumper, he played for 12 years. He's been on planes almost every week, almost every other day for his 12 years.
I get it. Listen, we all know that. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? What happens though when you're a high profile athlete is for so long you get passed. They pass you through. Don't worry about it, Shump. Don't worry about it. We got you. You keep going until you get caught. Just like in your home city, you speed around. This once, man, I could speed. I ain't worried about it. I'm gonna go ahead and go 85. Boom, boom, boom. Until that one day you get caught. And then all of your parents and everybody's and all you know better than the speed over there. Why would you speed it anyway? You know this. You know what the speed limit is. You know that the police watch this place all the time, but you got passed so many times, you took it for granted. You know what I mean? Things like that happen when you're a high profile celebrity. You get passed through, and then you start to take things for granted, and then bang.
But then now we're talking. Now this subject is interesting because now we're talking about special treatment athletes get, and that's a very deep, long, slippery slope right there with
Well, let's not act like it doesn't happen. It happens.
But we know it happens.
It happens. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it a buck, Sam. Me and you, we play sports. And a lot of people here, we know the special athlete on the team, how they got treated.
Well, yeah, we know.
How sometimes they didn't have to do the homework, or someone did the homework for them, or they could be late to class, and we know that. We know how it goes. So, it's happened. Look, I just hope Shump learns from this. I really, really do. I hope he can get some sense to not bring weed and bullets into an airport. Because at the end of the day, right, he has kids. He has 2 kids. He has a wife. Brother, they don't need you going to prison for stupid stuff like this. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, well,
You shouldn't go to jail for this.
We'll see what happens there. But ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the show, we're about to head off. But if you missed the show, make sure you rewind it. We had a good discussion about Quentin Grimes and whether or not he should be the sticking point to this Donovan Mitchell trade. Right? According to Tony Jones from The Athletic, and he's pretty much in with the Utah Jazz. It seems like Quentin Grimes is the sticking point. The Utah Jazz want Quentin Grimes, and the New York Knicks do not want to give up Quentin Grimes. They do not want to let him go in the trade. They do not want to let him go. So we'll see where that goes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get up out of here. I got basketball practice myself, so I'm on my way out. I appreciate your time. And, Big Bubba, any last words?
Hey, Sim, great show today. It sounds pretty good to me. Again, when it comes to the Quentin Grimes and Donovan Mitchell situation, again, I'm going to lean towards keeping Grimes, but he better be Danny Green. But please, everybody tonight, can you guys show up to the front stoop? It's going to be a very special one. We're talking about the Brittany Grimes situation. And, we would love everybody to have their input, call in, friendly debate amongst the chat, civilized debate. Because, I think there's people that have different views on the subject. Some people this way, some people that way. And I think it's going to be a great conversation for both sides. And tune in tonight. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. If the Knicks do not trade Quentin Grimes and all he becomes is Danny Green, I'll be pissed off. So, you mentioned Danny Green, I'll be pissed off. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, we out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.